Hey, English learners! Welcome back to English You Never Learned.
The podcast where we help you speak, understand, and truly connect with the English language. I'm Leo.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest challenges learners face when it comes to English: understanding native speakers.
That's right. You might be able to read English, write it, and even know a lot of grammar rules. But when it comes to listening, especially with native speakers, everything can suddenly feel much more difficult.
Yeah, it's like the moment when you switch from textbooks and slow videos to real conversations. Native speakers speak quickly, use slang, drop words, and sometimes even mumble. It can be overwhelming.
But the good news is, you can improve your listening skills. You just need to practice the right way.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll give you practical tips and tricks that will improve your listening comprehension and help you understand native speakers more easily.
We're going to break it down into simple strategies you can start using today. And don't worry, we'll make it fun.
Before we dive in, quick favor. If you find this episode helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's also struggling to understand native speakers.
Especially the friend who says, I can't understand anything when they speak fast.
All right, let's get started with why it's so hard to understand native speakers in the first place.
It's all about the speed of speech, the connected sounds, and the informal vocabulary.
Native speakers talk really quickly, and we often combine words together. For example, instead of saying, "What do you want to do?" we might say, "What do you want to do?"
We also drop certain sounds when we speak fast. For example, we say gonna instead of going to, or want to instead of want to.
And don't get me started on slang. Words and expressions like dude, chill, and YOLO are common in native speaker conversations, but often make no sense if you don't know them.
That's right. All of this combined can make understanding native speakers feel like you're trying to catch a moving train.
But don't worry, we've got your back. Let's break this down into actionable tips that will help you improve your listening.
Let's start with tip 1. Expose yourself to English every day.
The first step to improving any skill is consistent practice, and this is especially true for listening.
The more you listen to English, the more your brain gets used to the natural rhythm, pace, and patterns of the language.
And here's the key. Don't just listen to slow, easy content. Challenge yourself. Listen to things that are at your current level, but also push yourself to understand things that are slightly harder.
You can listen to podcasts, watch movies, or even listen to YouTube videos. The goal is to expose yourself to a variety of speakers and different accents.
You don't have to understand everything at first. The important thing is that you're constantly hearing English and your brain is getting better at recognizing words, phrases, and connected speech.
Exactly. And make sure you're listening to content that's interesting to you. When you enjoy the topic, you'll naturally want to listen more.
So, tip 1, expose yourself to English every day, no matter where you are or what you're doing.
Now, tip 2. Use subtitles, but don't rely on them too much.
This is a great way to start improving your listening. When you're watching a show or video, turn on subtitles to help you match what you hear with what you see.
But here's the trick. Don't use subtitles as a crutch. Challenge yourself to watch part of the video without subtitles, and then turn them on if you get stuck.
You can also use English subtitles if available. This will help you see the words in context and improve both your listening and reading skills.
And over time, try to reduce your dependence on subtitles. Your goal is to be able to understand without needing them.
Yes, because too much reliance on subtitles can slow down your listening progress. The more you challenge yourself to listen without them, the better you'll become.
So tip 2. Use subtitles as a tool, but don't let them be a crutch.
Tip 3 is focus on words you already know.
This might sound simple, but it works. One reason listening feels so difficult is that we often get distracted by unfamiliar words.
When you don't know a word, your brain stops paying attention to the sentence. You focus on that word instead of the meaning of the entire sentence.
But here's a trick. Focus on the words you already know. Even if you don't know every single word, try to understand the overall meaning by connecting the words you do understand.
For example, if someone says, I went to the bakery and had a really good croissant. Even if you don't understand the word croissant, you can understand that it's a food because of the context.
Exactly. The goal is not to understand every word, but to understand the general meaning.
So, tip 3. Focus on the familiar words and try to figure out the meaning of unfamiliar words based on context.
Now, tip 4. Listen for key phrases and idioms.
Yes. Native speakers often use key phrases and idiomatic expressions in conversations, and they can completely change the meaning of a sentence.
For example, if someone says, "I'm feeling a bit under the weather," they're not talking about the weather. They're saying they don't feel well.
Or if someone says, I'm on the fence about it, they're saying they can't decide yet.
These are phrases that you'll hear all the time in natural English conversations.
And the key to understanding these expressions is to learn them as a chunk of language. Don't try to translate them literally. Instead, learn the whole phrase and its meaning.
So, tip 4. Listen for key phrases and idioms. When you hear them, try to remember them and use them in your own conversations.
Moving on to tip 5. Practice listening to different accents.
Yes, one of the challenges of understanding native speakers is that English speakers come from all over the world, and they all have different accents.
That's true. You might be used to one accent, like American English, but then you hear someone from the UK, Australia, or South Africa, and they sound completely different.
And sometimes, even within one country, there can be significant differences in how people speak.
So, what can you do? Expose yourself to a variety of accents, watch movies, listen to podcasts, and find speakers from different English-speaking countries.
The more you listen to different accents, the better your brain will become at understanding various speaking styles.
So tip 5. Practice listening to different accents and get used to the different ways English is spoken.
Tip 6 is slow down the audio.
Sometimes native speakers speak too fast, which can make it difficult to follow.
If that's the case, slow down the audio to 75% or 80% speed. Most podcast platforms and YouTube allow you to adjust the speed.
It's not cheating. Slowing down the speed will help your brain catch all the words without feeling overwhelmed.
Once you're comfortable with the slower speed, gradually increase it to normal speed.
Slowly, you'll train your ear to follow the conversation at a faster pace, and you'll be able to understand native speakers more easily.
Tip 6. Slow down the audio if you need to, but gradually increase the speed as your comprehension improves.
And for the final tip, practice listening actively.
Active listening is different from passive listening. Passive listening is when you just hear the words without paying much attention.
Active listening is when you really focus on what's being said, think about the meaning, and try to understand the context.
To practice active listening, you can listen to short audio clips and summarize what you heard after.
Or pause the audio every few sentences and predict what might come next.
You can also practice by dissecting difficult sentences. Try to repeat them or say them in your own words.
Active listening helps you train your ear and improves your comprehension because you're engaging with the material.
So, tip 7. Practice listening actively. Focus, engage, and reflect on what you hear.
All right, let's do a quick recap of all the tips we've covered.
Tip 1. Expose yourself to English every day. Consistency is key.
Tip 2. Use subtitles wisely, don't rely on them, but use them to help you.
Tip 3. Focus on familiar words to help you understand the overall meaning.
Tip 4. Listen for key phrases and idioms, they're everywhere in natural speech.
Tip 5. Practice listening to different accents to get used to various speaking styles.
Tip 6. Slow down the audio if you need to, and gradually increase the speed.
Tip 7. Practice active listening, engage with what you hear, and reflect on it.
These tips will dramatically improve your listening comprehension.
And remember, this isn't a quick fix. Consistent practice is the key to understanding native speakers.
If you follow these steps, you'll start noticing big improvements in how much you understand.
If you liked this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs help improving their listening skills.
And tell us in the comments, which tip are you going to start with today?
This was English You Never Learned with Emma and Leo.
Until next time, Keep listening, keep practicing, and keep improving.
Bye.